So if you're anything like me, you enjoy doing it yourself. Or you just don't trust bringing your vehicle to a shop, especially when your truck is heavily modified. You know, all the really good parts. You're looking at a set of RCV axles with 3,000 miles on them, and I had to replace the boots, which led me to replacing the wheel bearings, etc. But long story longer, when you modify your vehicle as much as I do and some of the people I know do, you need to learn how to do it yourself because you cannot trust bringing it to a shop. That's all there is to it. And that's what this video is for. If you've got a Lexus or a Toyota with a sealed transmission and you want to know how to properly fill your transmission after draining or flushing it, this video is for you. So you're going to want to sit back, you're going to want to relax, and you're going to want to check this out. Before we start this video, I'm going to ask you to hit that subscribe button as well as the little bell right next to it so you're notified of all new videos. Here we go. So chances are if you follow this channel, you're familiar with my truck and the amount of time, money, and energy I've put into it. I ask a lot of my truck, and I take care of my vehicle. It's a very rare occurrence that I'll bring it to a shop, if ever. I try to do everything myself. When you have a heavily modified vehicle, it's in your best interest to know your way around this vehicle. But this video applies to anybody, stock or heavily modified, it doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how to drain and refill your sealed transmission pretty easily in your driveway, and it doesn't take all that long. So let's get into it. First thing is transmissions are expensive, so use the proper transmission fluid or better, one of the two. The second thing is locate the fill bolt for your transmission. It's a 24 millimeter nut and it's in a really tough location, but I'm pointing at it right there. You want to make sure this comes out before you drain your transmission. Makes sense, right? There you go. And because it's a sealed transmission and you don't have a dipstick, grab yourself one of these marked buckets, these graduated buckets, and drain your fluid into this so you'll know how much fluid came out. When you get under the truck, your drain pan's going to have two plugs on the bottom. One on the bottom and then one that goes up a little bit like the one I'm pointing right here. This is your overflow. You're not going to use this to drain. You're going to use the nut that I showed you originally to drain your fluid out. This guy right here. So here's the factory transmission pan. The one I'm pointing to is the overflow. The one I'm pointing to now is the drain. The overflow is the one you're going to use to get the excess transmission fluid out of the pan at the end of this procedure. So remember that. So for those that are wondering why you have to pull one specific plug as opposed to the other, if you look inside the oil pan, the transmission oil pan, like I'm showing right here, you can see the overflow tube up top, and that's the level of transmission fluid you're trying to get. Okay? Got it? There you go. Okay, now that you've located all these, what you want to do is pull the drain plug, and like I said, drain it into a graduated bucket so you have an idea of how much fluid came out. So you can put the same amount of fluid plus an extra 10% in there. That way there you can drain it off and get it exactly at factory specifications. Now that you've got it drained out, you've got to fill it back up. Now, this is the one specialty tool that I bought that cost 80 bucks. I'll leave a link in the description box below because this tool helps you fill your transmission no problem perfectly the first time. If you don't want to spend the 80 bucks on the specialty pump, you can use any type of a transfer pump to get the transmission fluid into the tranny. But the transmission fill is in a really tight spot, and this little adapter works way better than this. I'm just telling you. And again, links will be in the description box below. So once you get the transmission filled, whether you use the specialty pressurized bottle or whatever method you use to fill the transmission, whatever you took out in the graduated bucket, add about 10% because you want this to be overfilled so that when it's at proper temperature, you can drain off the excess, therefore having the perfect amount of transmission fluid in your vehicle. How easy is that? Okay, with your transmission filled, you're going to jump back into the cab and you're going to go underneath your dashboard to the OBD port.
Oh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Oh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw.
No. The OBD, not the ODB. There's a difference. So jump under the dashboard, you find the OBD connector, and you put pins in the top row, as shown, and in the bottom row, as shown. Easy peasy. Okay, I want you to double check this and then jump into the driver's seat and start the truck up. All your lights are going to be flashing just like this. That's normal. All is well. No worries. Now with the truck running, cycle the truck through all the gears. Reverse, drive, park, etc. Do that a few times to get the juices flowing, making sure that you keep your foot on the brake the entire time, obviously. Now put the truck back in park. Now, cycle between neutral and driver numerous times until your parking light shows a solid D. So when you're in fluid check mode, even though you're in park, it'll show a solid D. Or on some vehicles, it'll show the AT temperature light. So while you're going from neutral to drive, once the parking light comes on a solid D, put it back in park and jump out and pull the jumper out of your OBD port. You are now in fluid check mode. So now you just have to sit there in park and wait for your parking light to turn to a D once again. So even though you're in park, you'll have a solid D. That means you're at the perfect temperature to drain your fluid. So with the truck in park, but still running, jump underneath the truck, pull the overflow plug out of your transmission pan and allow it to drain any excess off until it comes to a very slow trickle. Once you get a slow trickle, put your plug back in and you are done. That's it. All set, ready to roll. You have completely serviced your sealed transmission successfully. And I have finished this video finally. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below. I will try to return the favor. Links to anything that I used in this video will be in the description box below. I am out.